Hey, it looks like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it looks like we got a caller. Caller, you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, ladies. I'm a person with a disability, and a lot of universities and colleges will be prepared for different types of emergencies that may occur. And I have been involved in exercises they have had, and I just wonder about sometimes, and I see a lot of times how they are not prepared, and it's really ridiculous. These universities, they don't take in consideration a lot of times, okay, I got these people with a disability, how can I aid them, whatever? Because we don't have fire drills no more just because of fire. We have different types of, maybe different type of terrorist activities that occur. And I just wondered, what's the purpose of these exercises they have, and they can't assist or help people with disabilities?
I think that, what I can say, and this is not necessarily the topic that Gear Up, Get Ready was dealing with, but from my additional experience working with organizations such as universities or local first responders, they do those exercises so they can understand where, their planning gaps are and where they need to improve. A couple of years ago, guidance was released on ensuring that all emergency planning for municipal governments around the country is 100% inclusive. And what you've seen is a lot of organizations like universities, like your cities, start to engage disabled communities of all kinds in planning, trying to bring them to the table. They call it whole community, trying to bring everyone to the table to be able to say, okay, we need to, lock down a building. How does that work for everyone? How does that also work for people who have disabilities, and vice versa? We need to evacuate. What different steps are we going to take to incorporate that? I'm sorry that your experience hasn't necessarily been good, but that's also an opportunity for them to identify where they have gaps and where they improve. And I encourage you, if you can, to get involved in that planning at your school, with your local jurisdiction, to help them understand better how they can better accommodate your needs.
Yeah, because sometimes I think it's just like based on, this is not an excuse, but out of perspective, the person in charge may see it one way, but knowing from your experience that, this is going to be a problem, a hazard. And as you said, one of the things is more important to figure out this problem before it becomes a problem. So I think even teaming up with contacting mayor's office for people with disabilities, they have an emergency preparedness plan actually, and I would give you the guys their website, but I find it's easier and more easier to remember if you just go to Google and type in MOPD Chicago. And Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities come up, and they're very responsive, and they actually even have a registry for people with disabilities, so that in case of an emergency, they can locate you. They already know where you are. So and so is at this house, and even if they have to come and do checks. I'm not saying that that's your situation, but it is kind of like a step in that direction. Yeah,
and I think on both sides of the table, from what Gear Up, Get Ready does with preparedness, but what I also know, the city of Chicago and other local governments are trying to do, is everyone is working together to try to do everything we can to empower the public as much as possible, and that includes, people without disabilities, people with disabilities, people with pets, people who live in rural areas or urban areas, to try to get them to understand what they can do to be better prepared and what they can do to be ready in their home, in their community, and in their neighborhood.